you for that. You also mentioned last week that, when we put a number on the table,
Yeah,
from my point of view, it's a 9, but
yeah,
from your point of view, it's a 6,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So let's just say that the political leaders are looking at a 6.
Right,
And we, as the citizens of South Africa,
right,
living in the communities and
right,
all that, we're looking at it and we see a 9.
right.
Now, my question is, can we expect political leaders to come to our side and see our point of view,
Yeah.
or would that be classified as, if we just because we don't see what they are seeing, we are ignorant?
Yeah.
Or point of view?
That's fair. In fact, what we also um, touched on was to say that politicians, when um, they make vows, you know, when they are inaugurated,
Okay.
and so um, and part of the vows is basically to serve society, to serve the communities, where to serve the nation, and not to be corrupt. So when they are corrupt and they corrupt others, they do all kinds of things. They are breaking their vows. Now, within the political realm, when you break your vows for example, in that instance, going against what you're supposed to be. That's really what it is. And so when we see um, occurrences like what has transpired the past 2 weeks within our country, and we see, and some people talking about insurrection, which is basically a violent, um, uh, you know, attack, if one may put it that way, on government, is to challenge government in a violent way. So when we see all those things, it's just uh, an indication that there is no communication. And when I say communication, because you can get miscommunication, I'm talking about effective communication between politicians and the communities they serve. So politicians are supposed to know and to get to know what the communities are going through, what the challenges are,
Yeah.
what the needs are, and how they need to assist, and then they need to go back and and just brainstorm around how can we serve communities better, how can we give a good account of ourselves, and then have their deliberations amongst themselves, and then come back to communities and do that. Once that a chasm exists between communities and politicians, then at the end of the day you will get things like service delivery protests. You will get a whole lot of just sort of that sullen animosity that is always within communities,
Okay.
and wanting, because politicians are not accountable and they're not coming to the people, so they don't know what the people are going through. And from this side, the people are not aware of the challenges of that politicians face. So because there's no communication, there are supposed to be mediators in the form of counselors, but those also are in some way non-existent.
Okay.
Uh, 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 they're not visible. They are there, but they're not visible. So as a result, then you get. But on your questions, politicians should be aware of what communities go through in order to serve them well, or in a better way. And so communities need to know what is happening within the political space, so that when they do judge passment, pass judgment, you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
So
Yes.
between the two, you will know out of wisdom when and how to pass judgment, how to hold them accountable,
Okay.
right? And they will know on that how to serve you better, because there's that That's, I think, in it all, that's what we're trying to say.
Wow.
But just to pass judgment, and I don't have a clue as to what is taking place within that arena, that, I mean, that's not wisdom right there.
Yeah.
And by the way, maybe if we have time, I don't know whether you will afford us that. We look at verse 5 and 6, we'll see how Solomon brings in wisdom there. Because wisdom is, I think, it's like a commodity, you know. It is imperative for community members to exercise wisdom as much as it is for politicians in order to run the country well.
Well, Daddy, to be honest, you just that was going to be